Hello, and welcome to this English learning video. Today, I will teach you a simple and powerful way to improve your English speaking through listening. As you listen to this story, try to repeat the sentences after me whenever you can. This simple practice can improve your pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Today's story is inspired by the emotions of modern friendship, unexpected love, and the journey of self-discovery. It is not about perfect people. It is about real emotions, difficult choices, and the moments that quietly change our lives. Maybe you watch English videos every day, but when it's time to speak, your mind freezes. Don't worry, you are not alone. Every confident speaker was once a beginner. So, relax, listen carefully, and enjoy the story. My name is Ananya, and 2 years ago, I left India with a suitcase full of dreams. I had accepted a job in London, and although I was excited, I was also scared. It was my first time living alone in a different country. Everything around me felt new. The weather, the people, the food, and even the language. On my very first evening, I stood outside my apartment with 2 heavy bags, wondering if I had made the right decision. At that moment, a cheerful young woman walked towards me with a bright smile. "Need some help?" she asked. Her name was Kiara. She was confident, energetic, and full of life. Within 10 minutes, she was talking as if we had known each other for years. She laughed loudly, spoke fiercely, and believed that every problem could be solved with good music and good friends. I was completely different. I liked quiet places, meaningful conversations, and simple routines. I thought we had nothing in common. But sometimes life introduces 2 completely different people for a reason. That evening, Kiara invited me to dinner. I wanted to refuse because I was tired, but something inside me said, "Say yes." I had no idea that one small decision would change my life forever. Ananya followed Kiara into the apartment with a mixture of curiosity and nervousness. The house was warm, colorful, and filled with music. Family photographs were hanging on the walls, small indoor plants stood near the windows, and the smell of freshly cooked food made the place feel like home. After a long and exhausting journey, it was exactly the kind of welcome she needed. Over dinner, the 2 women shared their stories. Ananya had grown up in Jaipur in a traditional family. She believed in planning everything carefully and rarely took risks. Kiara, on the other hand, had spent the last 5 years living in London. She believed that life should be enjoyed, not overthought. She loved meeting new people, exploring new places, and saying yes to unexpected adventures. Although their personalities were completely different, they enjoyed talking to each other. Sometimes the best friendships are born between 2 people who see the world in completely different ways. A few days later, Kiara introduced Ananya to one of her closest friends, Kabir. He was an architect who had moved to London several years earlier. Unlike Kiara, he was calm, thoughtful, and a good listener. He didn't speak too much, but whenever he did, everyone listened carefully. At first, Ananya spoke very little. She was still shy about her English and worried that people would notice her mistakes. Whenever she couldn't find the right word, she simply smiled instead of speaking. Surprisingly, neither Kiara nor Kabir laughed or corrected her. They listened patiently and encouraged her to continue. As the days passed, the 3 friends spent more time together. They visited beautiful parks, explored quiet cafes, and walked along the River Thames on cool evenings. Every outing became a new English lesson for Ananya. She learned new expressions naturally, without opening a grammar book. For the first time, English felt like a real language instead of a school subject. One evening, while they were sitting beside the river, Kabir asked Ananya, "If you could change one thing about your life, what would it be?" She looked at the water for a few seconds before answering. "I wish I were more confident," she said softly, "not only in English, but in everything." Kabir smiled gently. "Confidence doesn't arrive all at once," he said. "It grows every time you do something that scares you." Those simple words stayed with Ananya long after that evening ended. She didn't realize it then, but this friendship was slowly changing her. Every conversation made her a little braver. Every smile made her a little stronger. And every new day brought her one step closer to becoming the person she had always wanted to be. However, life was about to test all three of them in ways they had never expected. A single misunderstanding would soon change their friendship forever. The following weeks brought many changes. Ananya had become much more confident than before. She no longer stayed silent during conversations, and she even started sharing her opinions with people at work. Every small success made her believe that she was becoming a different person. One Friday evening, Kiara suggested taking a short trip to the countryside. "We all need a break," she said with a smile. Kabir agreed immediately, and Ananya decided to join them. The journey was filled with music, laughter, and endless conversations. For the first time since arriving in London, Ananya felt completely relaxed. During the trip, Ananya noticed something she had never paid attention to before. Kabir always made sure everyone felt included. He listened carefully before giving advice, respected everyone's opinions, and never tried to impress anyone. Those small qualities slowly made Ananya admire him. Kiara noticed the change as well. She could see that Ananya and Kabir had become closer, but she never said anything. Instead, she smiled and continued treating both of them with kindness. Their friendship still seemed strong, but deep inside, all three of them were beginning to experience emotions they couldn't easily explain. A few days later, Kabir received an exciting job offer in another city. It was the opportunity he had been waiting for, but accepting it meant leaving London behind. He was confused. His career was calling him in one direction, while his heart was quietly pulling him in another. One evening, the three friends met at their favorite cafe. The atmosphere felt different. There were smiles, but there was also silence. Finally, Kabir shared the news. "I've been offered a new position," he said. "If I accept it, I'll have to move next month." For a few moments, nobody spoke. Ananya felt happy for him, but she also realized how much his friendship meant to her. Kiara looked at both of them and understood what neither of them had the courage to say. Sometimes, real friendship means putting someone else's happiness before your own. That night, Kiara made a difficult decision. She encouraged Kabir to follow his dream and reminded Ananya that true relationships are built on honesty, respect, and trust, not on fear or silence. Before Kabir left London, the three friends spent one last evening together by the River Thames. They talked about their first meeting, laughed about old memories, and promised to stay connected, no matter where life took them. As they watched the lights reflecting on the water, Ananya smiled and realized how much she had changed. She had arrived in London feeling lonely, shy, and afraid to speak. Now she could express her thoughts with confidence, make new friends, and believe in herself. She finally understood an important lesson. Learning English was never only about vocabulary or grammar. It was about communication. It was about building connections. It was about having the courage to speak, even when you were afraid of making mistakes. Months later, Kabir returned to London for a short visit. the three friends met again at the same cafe where everything had begun. This time, there was no awkward silence, no hesitation, and no fear. They simply enjoyed the moment, grateful for the journey that had changed all of their lives. As for me, I still make mistakes when I speak English. Sometimes I forget a word, sometimes I pronounce something incorrectly, but I no longer let those mistakes stop me. If you are listening to this story today, remember one simple truth. Confidence doesn't come before you speak. Confidence comes because you speak. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with one sentence, then another. Keep listening. Keep speaking. And one day, you will look back and realize that the person who was once afraid to speak English has become someone who speaks with confidence. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired you to continue your English learning journey. See you in the next story. Like and